A man must have a code. Oh, no doubt.
This is Omar, and if you are a big fan of The Wire as I am, you not only know him, but you love his character. I think what the most appealing part of Omar is that Omar seemed to be the kind of person that was unable to be manipulated. He had a laser focus, even in the mistakes he made. His focus was so strong that he could not be swayed by manipulation. And I think that character trait is what makes him so revered by fans of The Wire. So I want to detail a conversation that Kosher Clinician was having this past weekend with Coach Greg Adams. And I guess all three of us are Gen Xers, but they made some really good points in this video, and I wanted to detail them in a very quick synopsis, if you will. Starting with the first point here.
Men are part to blame because they have been conditioned to follow the lead of a woman. And I keep telling the man, when a man is in a woman's feelings, then he's not in his purpose. But when a man is in his purpose, he don't give a damn about a woman's feelings. I've always said before, Coach Greg, you can love your woman within reason, but you never love a woman more than you love your purpose as a man, because eventually if you love that woman more than you love your purpose, you are complicit with idolatry and idol worship. And that's why women don't respect men no more, because men love women above their own principles as a man. They have no value system.
Oh, indeed.
Just like Omar has his laser focus, right? Guys have to have a purpose. And one of the culture shocks that a lot of guys are going to deal with is that you're going to be dealing with young ladies who have dealt with guys who are masculine in a way that you're probably not, because it's just different. And if a guy has a purpose, maybe he has to work or he's got, I don't know, whatever other stuff to do, he's not going to apologize for being busy. He's not going to apologize for not being there. And he's not going to spend his whole time trying to make someone like them. Even if you're a little bit geeky or dweeby or whatever, just be that unapologetically. Like, hey man, this is me. You want to rock with me? Rock with me. If you don't, because I got stuff to do. And that in itself is a way to appeal. It's important no matter where you're going, no matter how beautiful she is or whatever the case may be, you got to have some deal breakers. And Coach Greg Adams is going to speak to that here.
In the absence of a leader, a weak person will lead. So if women are setting the tone, they should set the tone in terms of there's a Briefholtz law. They set the rules of engagement, meaning that they are the gatekeepers of sex. So there they set the tone. But if the tone, if they're the leading, if they're saying we could be anything, disgusting, despicable, all right, don't shave our armpits, no standards, don't put any expectations on us, and they're the leaders, and guys are saying will do what they want because they have the golden vajayjay, that's not leadership for men.
Ain't no sugar water run through them veins.
There's a very wise and jacked, so be careful if you choose to try him, YouTuber by the name of Charles Faulkner Jr. He has a poignant quote. He says, "Black men are the garbage men of the dating market." And if you boil this quote down to its bare bones, what it basically says is that of all the men on the planet, black men are the ones who will be least likely to set standards for what they will and won't tolerate. And that what you choose to tolerate could be from attitude to any range of things. But if you're so worried about getting relations that you don't put any constraints on standards that you might have, it fits the quote. So I would tell guys, you should have a set of things that you will and won't deal with across the board, no matter where you are. And if you do that, what's going to come back is respect for you and for your time. Coach Greg Adams has a little bit more about that here.
Where women can say, what's wrong with a 50 body count? What's wrong with being overweight? You got to remember, these people were born 1996 and on into the 2000s, so they see nothing wrong with it. Where you're trying to make a difference is saying, guys, why do you accept that? The more you accept that, the more they hoe. The more you accept that, the bigger they're getting.
Right.
And do a show saying you're accepting fat women, where the fattest woman, even the chubby women today was considered fat in our time.
Right.
Standard.
A man got to have a code.
Of course, none of this applies if you're talking about professional relationships, but if you're talking about personal, intimate relationships, you have every single right to set the standards or desires that you have inside of that relationship. Think about it the other way around. If you are a guy who's not making enough money, a woman will shoo you away in a second. If you're a guy who's not tall enough, she'll shoo you away. If you're not the kind of looks that they're looking for, they'll shoo you away. It's only equality. And what they're talking about is that a lot of young guys don't have any standards above, I just want to get a lady that's going to say yes to me. And as a result of that, it's having an effect on it's having an effect on the marketplace. We'll put it that way. Often people in this space argue, who's the prize? Is it the man or is it the woman? Take a listen.
Men were not designed to be on their heels, reacting to what women want. Because as you mentioned earlier, before I go, if a woman is discouraged or I would say if she is not happy with their current situation, it was an easy solution. She doesn't have you.
That's
okay.
Right.
She has to find another you, which is very rare. They believe that good, proper men that will support them are in abundance, and there's not.
It's not.
Indeed.
If you're a guy who gets up, goes to work, and you're dependable, right now the kind of idea is that, you're a throwaway guy, you're easily replaceable. But that's not necessarily the case. A guy that gets up, goes to work, pays bills, and cares about you, and is, heck, throw on top, if he's loyal, he comes home every night. I think that there's this idea that those guys are easy to find, but if you look at the marriage rates in the Western world, just in developed countries, you can see that it's not as easy as people want to think it is. And if you know this, that gives you, as a guy who is functional and on the way to being successful, a lot of leverage when you're dealing with relationships and young ladies. And to be honest with you, if you know that you're headed somewhere positive, don't feel shy about flaunting it, because guys don't get to just go in the mirror and look pretty. We got to do stuff. We got to make stuff happen. And if you're making stuff happen, why not feel good about it? I got to be honest with you guys. It's kind of an honor to be able to cover Coach Greg Adams. He's one of the first guys I started watching. And here he's going to make a really good point, which is it has a relation to us.
Where do you see the trajectory of the current ecosystem, man? Where do you see it? Where do you see it? Do you see it continue to get worse? Do you see a reprieve where things might have some change, or do you think it's going to be more of the same?
Well, we're tracking towards more of bad before it gets good. All right, so there's going to be a lane for people like me and even the counter message, because it's not going to get better with the solutions that are being offered to men easier. As you're saying, men aren't traveling. Travel and see another place. You're going to see a different level of women, because they don't have a bailout. They don't have a safety net.
Yes.
Here they have a safety net, so they don't have to listen as long as government takes care of them. Overseas, that's not available.
It's on the game though, right?
This is Coach Greg Adams telling young men to travel. Now think about that. You're traveling not just so you could go find something, but so you can see, so you can evolve your way of looking at not just dating, about looking at life, looking at quality of life, how you eat, the way that you think about time. All of these are factors that if you live in a different place around different people who have different philosophies, you're going to evolve. And that evolution in the end is going to help you. Just like you think of the invisible hand in terms of capitalism, this is the same case in terms of dating, if you will, if you want to focus on that. If you evolve the way that you look at relationships and the end product being the kind of person you want to date, your way of looking at things is going to evolve. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll catch you guys next video. Take care, guys.